Do you hate hiring? Trust me, you're not alone. In this tip, I want to give you 5 questions to ask every potential employee that will help you speed up that process. Stay tuned. I think we could all agree that no one really likes hiring. I know I didn't. And the reason I didn't like doing it was the time consumption of it. It just took too long. Looking through resumes, calling people, getting them to confirm, not having them show up. It just was a waste of time. And there are other things that we can do and put together to maybe speed up that process. But what I wanted to do today was give you 5 questions you could ask potential employees that will help you screen them or filter them as either maybe good candidates for you or maybe somebody I don't need to spend a lot of time with and I can move on to the next person. So this tip is about asking what will seem to be 5 random questions. Now, of course, when we're hiring for positions, we are going to ask questions about how much experience do you have? Do you know how to answer phones? How many phone lines have you handled? Have you ever done insurance billing? How long have you been an assistant? Can you set up a tray? What instruments are these? And those are all good questions to ask. And they're valid questions if we want to move forward with somebody. But I found that if I ask these 5 questions ahead of time, then I may not move forward with the rest of the questions. First question. Remember I said they seem kind of random? This one is kind of random. I would ask all of my potential employees, what's your goal in life? And I would find out some interesting answers. Some might say that, oh, well, I was hoping to get back into my business program, so I'm just looking for a job now, but I've put in a couple applications. I have some interviews with schools. Some people might say, oh, I was hoping to open a salon. I got a ton of answers, and I might figure out that someone might be temporary. They were looking for another job. They were only going to be here through the spring. And so I asked that what seemed to be a random question just because it might give me information that I may really like the person, but I also have to be aware that they could be leaving in 6 months. They could be leaving in a year. And if that's not something I'm willing to hire now, train, and then have go, then I may go, okay, great, thank you, right? I never ended an interview until all 5 questions were answered. So that was question 1. Question number 2, give me 5 adjectives you would use to describe yourself. Really interesting on this question. First, I would get employees or potential employees, that would say, what's an adjective? And I always thought that was interesting because it might indicate that, okay, if we're having a problem understanding something like that, I may also have a problem understanding things of like, how does the phone work? How does insurance work? How does this software system work? But that didn't happen as much as the adjectives used to describe themselves being a little bit like red flag. I remember I've had potential employees that have described themselves as crazy and laughed after they said that. One person said they described themselves as a psycho, but then tried to qualify why they were a psycho. So I was thinking, like, on paper, this candidate looks really good. But just by asking that question, I was like, maybe not for our office. So that's question number 2. So question number 3, I would always ask the potential candidate, what hours are you willing to work? Now, in the ad, I posted the hours that I wanted. We were open from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We were open Monday through Friday. So they knew the hours when they came in. It was in the job posting. And I want to make sure that they're willing to work those hours. Now, 80% of them would say the hours posted. So, okay, great. But 20% would give some weird answer. They would say, well, I was only looking for Tuesday and Thursday. Or I was only looking for Monday and Wednesday. Or I was only looking for Monday through Wednesday and I have to leave every day by 3:30. So it's not a good indicator. I don't need to move forward with this candidate because they're not going to fit in the job requirements I need. I need somebody from 8 to 4:30 to 4, whatever it is. And they're already saying like, well, I can't fit these hours. So I always found that to be a very good question. Question number 4 got to the pay question. I would ask them, what would you want as compensation for this job? What's your hourly rate? Now, in the job posting, I again posted the hourly rates or the position and how much we were going to pay for it. Let's just say it was a receptionist job and it was anywhere from 20 to 25 bucks an hour, depending on experience. So again, what I would find is 80% of my potential candidates would say, well, what you posted. I'm good at the 20 to 25. I don't have much experience, so I'm okay. Maybe at like 22, is there a way to move up? And I would tell them how to do that, how to get the top end and explain it. But if anybody said I wanted an amount over my top end, it was a red flag because they were looking for $28 an hour. I've only posted as high as 25. If they decide to take the job, all they ended up doing was looking for their next job. So if anybody ever said an amount above what I posted, it just wasn't going to be a good fit. I'm hiring them at 22 and they wanted 28. There's an automatic disagreement starting off when we hire them. I guarantee what they're going to be doing is looking for another job while they're at my job and then just ghost us one day. So question number 4, very important. Finally, the last question. And the way I phrased it, it kind of sounds a little bit strange, but trust me, the answers you get will blow your mind. Question number 5 was, is there any reason you could not show up for work or do your work? And I would get some weird answers here, but it was also an indicator, okay, this might be a problem. Oh yeah, well, I'm at school right now. So somehow I missed it on the question number 3 with hours. And now they're telling me, well, yeah, I go to school and I have to leave at 3:30. Or on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I can't come in until 12. And I'm like, wait, but we just went through this, right? So I'm trying to find out, is there any reason that you might not show up for work or couldn't do your work? The answers you're going to get to these questions will allow you to filter or screen to go, okay, good, I want this to go to the next step. There's a lot of ways to put those questions in. When I was doing it, it was all in person. But I know that on a lot of job posting websites, you can kind of put your questions in ahead of time. It'll help you filter. Those 5 questions, we want them to be in a positive light. You want to look at them and go, okay, good, that's a good candidate. All these things line up, right? They have goals in life. They describe themselves well. They want a pay range. They can work hours, right? There's no reason that they won't show up or do their job. And now I can move on to the rest of the questions. With hiring, you want to move fast. I don't want to look at resumes. It doesn't matter what's on the resume. What matters is what the person is saying in front of me. So those 5 questions helped me out a lot. It helped me filter through people very quickly. I found great potential employees that I was then able to bring into my practice and train. You can do the same. Ask a few questions. You're going to be shocked at the answers you're going to get. When you get a shocking answer, put in the post. I would love to hear what you heard because I know what I used to hear. I'm not going to say it in here, but there were some crazy answers. If you like that tip, then hit the subscribe button because we got plenty more tips for you and I want you to get alerted when they come out. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.